First of all, let me say it's an honor to sit with erudite professor
Thank you, sir.
Kolawole Olaiya himself. I feel very honored.
Thank
An
you.
alumni of the
Great
greatest of the
effect.
greatest of the greatest Ife. So
Great effect.
this is Ife blood here. So it's an honor. My name is Bashorun Dr. Femi Branch. Actor, well, producer, director, filmmaker, playwright, poet. Uh, I think that's about it.
Yeah. Actor, director, producer, filmmaker,
Mhm.
playwright, poet.
That's right.
A whole lot of gamut of the arts in different aspects.
Yes, sir.
So how did you come about all these? You're an actor, you're a director, you're a playwright, you're film. Let's probably limit that to your. I know you studied at Great Ife,
That's right.
and so I'm not surprised that you have all those skills. But then, so what did you study at Ife?
Yeah, I was. That was.
Theater.
Yeah. Dramatic arts eventually.
Yeah.
But I got admitted to study. I was supposed to study law. My father wanted a lawyer,
Okay.
so but English was cancelled the year that I got admission. So
Okay.
I had to make do with a professional admission to study religious studies. So it was in my second year in Ife that I discovered dramatic arts.
Oh, really?
Yes, and since then
How?
it's actually a very funny story because if you're familiar with Ife, you know that if you're going from academics to the residentials and you
Yeah.
pass a place called Obuka,
Yeah.
that's where the African Studies complex is.
Yeah.
So that's where it houses the Dramatic Arts Department, Fine Arts,
Fine arts, language, I think
language,
Yoruba.
yes, language
Yeah.
Yoruba and all that. So anytime we pass that place, maybe we're just done
With your
with
lectures.
lectures and we're going back to our halls and we pass Obuka, we pass African Studies, you know, morning, afternoon, day, I mean, whatever time of the day,
There's
you get
music. They're dancing. Yeah.
So one day I just asked one of my friends, are these people also here to obtain a degree? Because they just seem it's just dancing. This guy are enjoying themselves too much to be here
And then
for
you
an
wanted to be
academic
part of the
pursuit.
enjoyment.
And I mean, I just got curious and I just started going there, during my free period. I'll just go there, sit down, watch them, and I got so fascinated.
Hmm.
And I even started sitting in on their lectures, because I really wanted to see the academic part of it because I felt that this couldn't possibly be the academic part of it.
Yeah.
So it was when I now started sitting on lectures and I understood that there's the theory and there's the practical aspect of it.
Mhm.
And I mean, I was hooked. I was hooked, and that was the year that Professor Orotimi of blessed memory, took up the headship of the dramatic arts department,
Okay.
and took me under his wings
Hmm.
and mentored me, personally myself, Aoba Bob Manuel, Judor, and mentored three of us personally.
Wow.
And I mean, for me, it is an experience I will never. That's what formed the fabric of who I am today. So if I'm a playwright, if I'm a poet, if I'm an actor, director, I give all of that to Professor Olaroti's mentoring.
Yeah.
So,
and it was very good. It was good at what
oh
he did.
no, he was
Brilliant.
Without
Absolutely.
diminishing anyone else's accomplishment, he was the best.
Yeah.
I'm
Because
sorry.
as a director,
I'm an Olarotibi boy, so
yeah, I've read a lot about how he manages the crowds.
That's right.
That he was a master when it comes to that.
Oh yes.
So his directorial skill is legendary.
Oh yes. I mean, it's legend. That's the word for it. It's legendary.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest lessons that I learned from Professor Olarotibi as an actor is there are no small roles, only small actors. If I have been able to establish myself as an accomplished actor today, if I am still being reckoned with after 36 years in the industry and I'm still playing lead roles and other on Netflix and cinemas and all that, it is because of that one lesson that I got from him, that there are no small roles, only small actors. Okay. And he gave us an example of when he did a Broadway play. And all he did in the play was to just come in at different intervals with a tray of drinks, come in, stand there till he's told to put the drinks down, stand up and leave. I think he said he did that about twice or three times in the play, and they will call for him. They will call him Fellow. He didn't even have a name. They call him Fellow. Fellow.
Because his role was very minute.
You understand?
Yeah.
But he said after his first entrance, by the time he exited, the next time, as in people were looking forward, because if you know Professor Larry, I mean, he was not a very tall person. He was but he's so, I don't know the word to use.
His presence was so visible.
Professor Larry to me will never, this is his height and this is your height, he will never look up to you. his eye line is he will look straight at where his eye line reaches. If it is your navel, if it is your chest, that's where he's look. So it's I don't know if it's a psychological device or something, because you are now forced to want to come down to his level, you know. So he had that presence about him, and you know, he had a very, very interesting physique. You know, he's very small, but his head is a bit big, then he has an even bigger afro and all of that. So he said by the time they did the curtain call, they called out, in fact, when they called him, he got the standing ovation for the rest of the cast. And that left a very, I mean, that imprinted indelibly in my psyche as an actor. And every role that I've encountered ever since then, be it lead, be it supporting, be it even, I've not done much minor roles in my career, thank God, but I come with that.
That you have to be at your
yes,
best.
it's the same process of preparation, whether it's one line I have, whether it is 1,000 lines, it's the same process of preparation. And I believe that is what has really helped me.
I mean, that's very profound.
Yes, sir.
That is very profound. And then you've done a whole lot. But how did you come into movie? Yes, you studied theater. One thing that I know is that as a student of theater myself, is the discipline that comes with it. And given the roles, the major roles you play, it takes a disciplined person to be able to play that role. So, but how did you, transition into film?
Well, my very first encounter in film was when we were taken as students. In Ife, you have the dramatic arts department. You have a professional troupe. That was called the acting company.
The acting company,
So the acting company had the film project we were doing then, so they needed extras. So they took some of our students there. It was a Yoruba film. They went into the bushes somewhere in Ife and shot it. So that was my very first film experience, and it was interesting.
And then you liked it?
Yeah, it was interesting. So, but after that, it was years later, I think it was my third year or so, that we now take part in the professional film project in Lagos. And it was little bits, just like trickles like that, then some years later again, we now did another project that was like a Hollywood collaboration, directed by the late Lloyd Weaver. So but for me, it wasn't such a hard transition, because I learned the basic elements early enough.
Yes.
I was blessed to be to work with people who understood both genres and were able to let me know, because the problem that most actors have in transitioning is, theater is larger than life, because we do not have the camera, we do not have the mics for sound, we do not have all of that. So everything is your body, is the instrument, you're taught to project. So we do not have all the acoustic embellishment that we have these days of having mics on stage and all that. It was your voice. It was so. Most actors now find it hard to transition when you now have all of that. You don't need to shout. You have the microphone. The movements have to be because you're now in a more confined space and all of that. So, but I was blessed to have people who tutored me early enough to understand the differences and know how to bring it down without watering down the performance. It's just the medium that is different. It's still, you still have you even have more of an audience behind the camera at the end of when the work is finished. But right now, it's about bringing it down. As regarding the discipline, I think that's what stands out any thespian, any stage actor that finds himself in film. You will always know them. They will always be the first to get to set.
Yes.
They are very. They don't play with their lines. They're not afraid of lines. Like one of the things I see that amuses me in film on moon sets is that most actors are afraid of lines.
Yes.
Then some of them even to the point of wanting to just improvise all the time. When the lines are too much, they're like, hey, okay, so just tell me what the message is, so that I will just say it in my own words and everything. And me, they would have given me a script of 10 pages and I would have carried the lines in 5 minutes, and I'm waiting. And we're now doing a CR camera rehearsal, and the other person is now improvising, and I'm like, no, that's not what the script is. But how do you? That line is too much. I'm like, sorry, I don't know how to. If we're improvising, let's know we're doing improv. But if we're not doing improv, we're going then let's
follow the script.
You understand? So I mean, the discipline stands you out. It stands you out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's why I asked that question deliberately, because it's not the same.
It is not.
Where you, especially with with film, where you can stop and shoot and stop
exactly.
and take so
I
many
have
angles.
takes and everything.
But then if you know the lines, it flows naturally.
Right.
Much more than when you are asking and saying, "Oh, please remind me of that word."
Yeah, I mean, even with continuity, because I mean, I just thank God for the training, because the people that do not have that training, this is how they came in. This is how they learned.
Yes.
You understand? We call it pambulambula back in school.
In
Then
school,
do pambulambula, where just like improvise lines and everything. Just like, you know, there's a genre of that even in theater. Where we call it improv. Yeah, improvisation. Yeah, but when we're doing improvisation, we know we're doing improvisation.
It's more structured.
It's structured, exactly.
Improv.
It's structured improv. So even, I mean, I wouldn't say a line here, and by the time I'm doing the next time I'm saying something else. You understand? So what? The improv simply means that we're creating. It's not scripted. That's as far as. Exactly. But we still, once we have agreed, we have put together, we have improvised.
That is
we
what
have
we are going to
an
do.
unwritten script. Yeah. So we are consistent with the lines and everything, but it is not the same with these actors that just. I'm sorry, that just came in through the window and just
because there are certain plays that even start like Fuga's plays, for instance.
Right, yes,
and then it becomes written later.
Exactly.
I mean, that consistency.
Stage
that's
script,
why they're able to be to do it that way.
Exactly.
That consistency makes it meaningful.
Right.
That consistency makes it more structured.
Right.
And then that's what makes it beautiful. So
that's
by the time they are translated,
right,
it's still largely the same thing.
The same thing, exactly.
So this is why I asked, and when we're talking, earlier about before the improv, when we're talking about again the stage, I agree with you. The stage is much more a lot of gestures, it's more declamatory, whereas. And that is exactly why I asked that question.
Right.
Whereas you see some people, they still take it into the film.
Right.
Then you notice that there's something wrong.
They're just off.
It's just off. Whereas for someone like you, when there's need to do that, again, I think it has a lot of advantages too, being of both worlds.
Oh yes. No doubt.
You know how to navigate it.
No doubt.
You know how to.
No doubt. I mean, no. There's no in saying that. No doubt about it. I mean, you have so many resources at your disposal. So you can decide to go there, or be here, and all of that. But when you don't have that, you are limited. Yeah. So I wouldn't trade that for anything. I wouldn't trade that for anything. And like back in school, like I believed a lot in Stanislavski's principle of internalization. So that for instance is something that you don't buy it because once you have that, because that's for me that's my primary tool in getting,
so you become the
character, you become that is it,
that person,
and that helped me in different projects in my career, but most especially recently when I did the House of God, where I played Basharonga.
Yeah.
And till date, in fact, we started right from set when my fellow actors would there was a time that Tony Abraham, she played my sister, and there was a scene, we were doing a banquet scene in my house, and because anytime once I step on set, there's a full switch. When we're still in the green room or the holding area, we're joking and all that. But once they say, okay, fine, we're going in 30 first year, and then once
you become the character.
I become the character.
Yeah.
So at that point, even when you're joking and everything, I can respond to the jokes, but you will notice that it's no longer as Femi Branch.
Yeah.
So you have to look at me one day and like, that she said in Yoruba, it could be kasha. It could be when we and I just looked at, and I know I heard that from a distant place, and I looked at her, and I smiled, and I just went back, and she said, "Sherry, because at that time I was no longer Femi Branch.
You are Gaha.
I was Gaha.
And Gaha is the Ka.
Do you understand? Yeah. So it that process is a necessary tool when you take up certain characters, especially when you're not playing with real life characters who existed at some time in history.
Exactly.
It helps to bring such characters to life. If it's fiction, I mean, I can determine, okay, this is how he speaks, this is how he walks, this is how he gestures, this is how he does that. this is what he looks like when he's angry. But when you're dealing with a historical character, you have to be correct as regarding a lot of things.
And it was such a famous character that you can't afford
famous
to be
character.
wrong.
You still have people. Oyo is still there. Yeah. People who know him. Fine, you might not have anybody who interacted with the man, but
lineage.
His lineage is still there. So you cannot afford not at least try at least, if you cannot do 100, try at least 70-80% accurate in your delivery of the character. So that is it.
Because there are people there would question.
Yes.
Because nobody wants him to be misrepresented. Yes. Powerful.
You have a gun, and he's smiling all the time. He's playful. It was a totally different experience.
And this is one of the areas that actually interests me that I was going to talk about. So what were the challenges you faced? Because again, that's one of the latest work you've done, arguably one of the most famous, in recent time.
Right.
And then people commended you. It was brilliant. It was real. You brought him to life.
Thank you.
But then, given the fact that that you're not playing an isolated person, you're not playing a fictional character, you're playing a character that is subsumed in a lot of myth.
Right.
And, the stature is there.
Yes.
So how did you prepare for that role?
Yes, I think one of the major challenges we had in going into the project was, even right from the point of research, when the script was put together, was to determine or decide on what angle to approach the story from.